Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Laura Skinner, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind successful startups, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future expansion. Today, we're excited to have Jamie Crosbie, the founder of Proactive. Jamie will be sharing more about her founding story and giving us a glimpse into their plans for future growth. So let's jump right in, Jamie, and welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, Laura.
You are so welcome. So take myself and the listeners back to the beginning. What inspired you to start? And of course, what do you solve within the marketplace?
Well, I was inspired to start my business 20 years ago, Laura. I began my career in the traditional staffing industry and eventually I was in sales and operational leadership and moved and was recruited to Career Builder and became vice president of sales and training and development. And I saw real gaps in the market for leaders of sales and marketing organizations to be able to protect and propel their revenue as it related to talent. So I wanted to create a really unique model that filled in the gaps in the marketplace. That's why I started that specific business. But truthfully, I always knew I wanted to start my own business really from early on. So I intentionally worked for very entrepreneurial companies so that I could be prepared to start my own business when the time was right. And the time was right 20 years ago in January of 2005. So
I love that. Awesome. So what would be super helpful is if you could walk me through like a typical customer journey, it would be super great to understand what that looks like from like X to Y.
yeah, so I mean, a lot of our customers they've got a need in the area of their sales organization to really protect and propel their revenue. So for us, one of the things they are either doing is helping to do more with less. They want to make sure they replace C players with A players so that they maximize the revenue opportunity, or they're trying to protect their revenue by ensuring they always have great salespeople at their disposal so that if a top performer were to leave unexpectedly, they'd be prepared. Or they're growing in the marketplace. And that's a lot of them, they're growing and expanding and wanting to add more value for their clients. So they need more sales and marketing and operations and leadership talent because that's the lifeblood of their company. So for us, we will identify the areas of their company that really are most impactful from a revenue perspective and where they might have some vulnerability in terms of talent, either C players or A players that could leave or promote, and then growth opportunity, and create a proactive approach, a plan that will ensure that they have enough top qualified talent that matches the profile of their ideal candidate at their disposal so that it's essentially revenue insurance, so to speak, where they are protecting their greatest asset and will qualify what a top performer looks like to them and then ensure they've got resumes that have been deeply qualified, candidates that have gone through a very in-depth customized qualification process, and ultimately a hire for them that leads to revenue generation and impact. So
100%. I mean, the opportunity cost on a mishire is just huge. So reverse engineering like that is just like your revenue in one, right? Like it's just crazy how much that can like cannibalize a business anyway.
exactly.
For sure. So in terms of when you look at your business as a whole, with where you are right now, obviously you've been running for quite a while. Where are your biggest kind of go-to-market sales and marketing gaps right now, if any, that you're really trying to double down on and close, and basically your priorities over the next couple of months?
Well, really, our priorities are to help make our customers more successful. And we do that by looking at where they have vulnerabilities or growth opportunities and ensure that we've got talent at their disposal that matches their profile of top performers. So, we're focused on doing that. We're focused on as well, looking at just the landscape, the complete landscape and ecosystem of talent and revenue generation. And it's, yes, they've got to have the right people in the right seats, but they've got to really make sure that they're onboarded well, that they have continuous training and development, that they're retained well. And so it's the complete life cycle. And we, like to just help advise our clients in all of those key areas.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have long LTV with your customers? So like they come back to you for all of their hires?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, that is, based on our model being so unique in the marketplace and having such an in-depth qualification process, we have a much higher probability of success with our candidates. We always hear that they're there longer, that the longevity is really a differentiator as well. So they are absolutely coming back and, needing help for the entire growth trajectory for them as a company.
For sure. I love that. I think that's just like so important. So when you're actually thinking about top of funnel, how are you actually acquiring your clients? Like what are your tactics to bring in new clients and keep that top of the funnel predictable?
Well, we're very lucky. We've been in business 20 years. 83% of our business comes through referrals,
Wow.
and we've got a lot of reoccurring revenue as well. So that absolutely is a key, strategy, but as well, we certainly are always looking at the marketplace and opportunities and where people are scaling and growing and where we can make an impact.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever leveraged like outreach via like organic multi-channel approach or anything like that?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Have you ever leveraged like utilizing outbound, like actually doing outreach for the business
Oh,
rather?
for sure. Absolutely. Yes. We had to start that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then do you leverage paid ads much?
We have a little bit, but not a whole lot.
For sure. And then where do you see when you look at the overarching like go to market, where do you actually see like the gaps at the minute, if any at all, right? When you're looking to kind of continue this scaling?
I just see that there's opportunity to continue to focus and do outreach on all levels. We do a lot in SMB, we do a lot in mid-market and enterprise, and sometimes, our referrals, a lot of our business comes from referrals, which is awesome, but we have opportunities to do outreach in all of those areas.
For sure. And then with regards to the sales process, what does your team look like? Is it just you? Do you have a team that are actually closing deals? Like, what does that look like if the customer was pre being a customer,
Yeah, we
essentially?
have a sales organization and a talent management organization. So we've got the outreach with the sales organization that talks to the client CEOs, VPs of sales, leaders of marketing, sometimes VPs of HR, and talking about their needs and their goals and objectives. And then we've got the talent management team that fulfills those needs and objectives.
Interesting. And then, so are you kind of completely out of the go-to-market approach then, and you're at the top and like operationalizing and systemizing all of this, or are you still needed at some point within that process?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm strategically involved very much with the company, and I also am a speaker and will speak on various topics within organizations like performance mindset shift and breaking through limiting beliefs, sales leadership, things like that. So I'm involved in both.
So do you have a separate speaking business then?
I do.
I love that. So do you travel a lot with that? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, at least a couple times a month, I definitely do.
So are you going to like conferences?
Yeah, conferences and then organizations, exactly.
Okay. And are you scaling that business up, or is that like hand in hand, or what does that look like?
Yep, I'm scaling both.
Okay. Interesting. And then in terms of the roadmap for scaling the businesses, like, are you doing them together, or what does that look like?
I'm sorry?
In terms of just the roadmap, so in terms of scaling both of them, what are you doing them together? Do they go hand in hand?
No, I mean, they're two separate business plans. Yeah,
Okay, so you're working on both of them and trying to scale them both simultaneously.
correct.
And within the speaking business, is there any kind of bottlenecks or challenges or anything with growing that side?
Not specific challenges, no. It's just,
Okay.
opportunities.
Okay, cool. And then what actually specific problem inspired you to inspired you to go on to the speaking? Like, I'd love to understand that
I
transition.
wanted to help solve the problem of underperformance within organizations by helping transform the way people think.
Okay. And then has that ever evolved in terms of the offer that you're offering on stage? Like, have you ever evolved that go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, it does absolutely continue to evolve.
Okay. And then Obviously, many founders face moments where they've obviously wanted to give up. When did you kind of, if at all, over the last 20 years, have you had that? And how did you kind of push through it?
I haven't ever really wanted to give up, but certainly there are challenging, markets and things like that. And I'm just the type that, when challenges arise, I go to the solutions room. I practice what I preach in my talks. And instead of just staying in the situation room, I go to the solutions room and really look at how to work through and solve the challenge and how to learn and grow from it.
Cool. And then with regards to the recruitment industry, right, like it's pivoted multiple times. Like I can't even imagine how much it's pivoted within being in it within the last 20 years. Where do you kind of see the industry evolving in the coming years? Like how are you positioning yourself through when you see it evolving, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it continues to evolve, and I think we just have to, be ahead and evolve with it.
Okay, cool. Well, have you got any kind of takeaways, key lessons learned that you can share with our listeners before we wrap?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just first and foremost that one of your questions was about the challenges. And I think we've got to look at challenges as opportunities and failures as stepping stones for growth. And so, they're really stepping stones for success. They're not things that have to be permanent setbacks, but just opportunities to grow and create a new kind of success. So that's what I would leave you with.
I love that. Awesome. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. I want to thank Jamie for sharing her incredible insights and journeys with us today. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their sales through world-class marketing systems. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.